الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب واحلم يجعل الله واجب أعبده سبحانه وتعالى وأشكره وهو أهل حمد وثناء وأشهد أن لا إله إلا وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله ومصطفى اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah Almighty, and I hope that I can say something small from something big, because it's an ocean, and we have such a small time, such a short time to grasp the totality of our presence here. And the only way that we can get a glimpse of that reality is to be without the influence of our minds. And we've been taught only to use our minds. Our bodies are the servants of our minds. The body cannot disobey the mind. If a mind has a sickly thoughts, the body is going to be sick. It's going to say we sick, and it's going to be sick. If that mind is going to say or think great things, then that body is going to feel that it is great. And that's why when we leave this life, the body will bear witness against us. And this is why for Muslims it is haram to cremate our bodies, because our bodies bear witness to what the mind has commanded it. If our minds commanded our bodies to commit unlawful acts, it will say, oh, Allah had no power over my master, the mind, not to go to that place, or not to go to this place, not to say that, not to look there, not to listen to this or that. It's going to bear witness against us, and our bodies are with us everywhere. Look how Allah Almighty has set this up. Our bodies will bear witness in terms of what it was commanded to do in this life. When the Prophet Muhammad was sent here, he was rahmatan lil alamin. He was a mercy for all of the world. There are more than 70,000 planets just like this one, with people just like us who think themselves to be the only ones in existence. So when Allah Almighty says that He is Lord of all the worlds and the Prophet is a mercy for all the worlds, He's saying that this is not just for America or this planet. It is for all of the worlds. In the Quran, there are 6,666 verses. Each verse has 6,666,000 meanings. Do you think that all that meaning, all that power was for just one planet that can barely be seen once you get so far up in space? So this is a very, very powerful message to us. We were brought to America, and we're asking and we're begging our government for reparations. Do you think that Allah Almighty would bring us over here to build America, and our payment can only be spent in this world? There's a whole wisdom and the elaborate scheme as to why we are here at this day in time, in history. All of our thinking, all of our circumstances, no matter where we're coming from, anywhere in America or outside of America, has brought us here to this place at this time. Allah Almighty is shutting down every place where all the prophets came. The prophets came all over through the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. And they have all left their deen, or the way of life that all those 124 prophets graced their land and raised up the people to be representatives of Allah Almighty on earth. They have left that for the booty. Like the soldiers when they left beloved Muhammad ﷺ during the war of Uhud, when they felt that they were strong enough and were defeating their enemies, they left the Prophet, peace be upon him, to have to be defended by the women who were defending him, that were just there to make sure that their sons and their husbands didn't run in the heat of the battle. They ended up fighting for beloved Muhammad ﷺ because the people left that Allah Almighty had given them as a means of a sustenance for this life and the next life. There's nothing in this life worthy of leaving what Allah Almighty has given us for this life and the next life while we're in this life. And we say, oh, they left the Prophet. And if the sisters didn't fight for him, he would have been killed. Astaghfirullah. We do the same thing. We are doing it today. We have left our purpose. And so we live every day. What is my purpose? Is it to be a doctor? Is it to be a lawyer? Is it to be the president? What is my purpose? And so we're lost. Because Allah Almighty has set up this world, the new world, as a means of the sun rising in a place in which he sets. And that's why we're here. Allah Almighty, our reparations is Islam. Takbir! 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 That transcends time and space and cause and effect. We're not affecting people in our daily lives in a good way. And this is why Allah Almighty has allowed Muslims to be all over the world. When I say Muslims, I mean people who submit their will to Allah Almighty, righteous people. It's a verb, not a noun.